Hey guys, it's a very rainy, horrible, shitty day in Wonthaggi today. Howling wind and rain. So I'm in here fiddling around with some clay and some plaster skulls that I made in a mould. So that's just plaster of Paris. And what I'm doing is just got some of this polymer clay. That's it, yep. Which I got from the Wonthaggi discount store. And I'm just covering these skulls with some of that and making them sort of look like they're zombies. So that's polymer clay over the top of that plaster skull. And I've made an eye on this one. This one's a little bit different. This was the first one that I made. It was a bit of a prototype. As you can see, I didn't put enough plaster in the mould. This one's flat, but you could actually stick it onto something, I suppose, flat like that. So that's what I'm sitting here doing today on this rainy day. I also made popped some of that clay in the mould. Of course, it's not a full one, it's just the face, but you can stick those on things and do exactly the same as what I've done with these ones. When you put the clay in the mould, what you best to do is probably put it in the freezer for a little bit so the clay hardens up, so it gets, a little bit stiff, and then you can just pop them out and pop them in the oven. Otherwise you squish them. So when you're putting the clay on the skull, it's not going to stick. You've got to be patient with building it up around the skull. I'm just flattening some of this out. Get a bit of this. And just you don't need it really thick because obviously you've got a solid structure underneath it. Just get your tools. And just try and push the clay down inside all the eye sockets and the grooves. Once you've done that, if you just push down, like I said, it doesn't need to be really thick. You get the indents of the skull, but it just looks like there's a thin layer of skin over the top. Where you're dragging it down, you can use that for just some just try and give you a closer look. So it sort of looks torn as it's going on and you're pressing it down. good thing about the clay is as you're doing this stuff, you build it up around the brow. You can actually push that down and you can actually shape the face around the skull, so you can change the effect of it, like the expression. Like I said, just be patient with it because it isn't going to stick to the plaster. Just move that camera up a little bit. That's better. Just keep smoothing that around. So if it tears, that's okay, because like I said, you can use that as an effect of the skin has been torn. Maybe make something here in his head. And you might want to get a sharp tool just to get those inner areas and just lift the skin a bit. Okay. Get a bit more clay. I think I'm going to put some clay around this jaw area. Once this has been put in the oven and it's been cooked, this will mould to the skull. Sorry if this camera's not real good. It's just a cheap webcam, just so I can get a bit closer in. What I did with this skull before I started doing this is I just put some sealer on it also, because if you don't, you get all that powder from the plaster going everywhere. Okay, so it's going to be his face. Just going to do the back of his head. Try not to wreck what I've just done. I can always go back and fix it though. I'll actually join that there. Doesn't have to be perfect, of course, because it's a zombie. His skin's going to be pretty ragged anyway. We put the sealer over this, it will harden it up too. So I'm just lightly pushing that down. Okay, I think that's about it. What I want to do to that one. If you want to put an eye in this, you can. I normally just get a little bit of the white polymer clay, just roll a ball. Depends on where you want to put the eye to. Make sure that it fits. Okay. The other thing I like to use is I bought one of these stamps. This one's called Crackle, and what I like to do is just go over it just lightly. It just gives the skin a bit of a veiny sort of look all around it. I'll just lightly press this on. Okay, don't want to move the clay too much with what you've just done. I think that's pretty good. A bit different to the other ones that I've done. And I might just push this eye down a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to put him in the oven and see how he comes out.